Vice Chancellor Young, how would you describe the legacy and dealings of past AS presidents, particularly with your Office of Student Affairs?
With the election, I think about that a lot, and I've been blessed with having extraordinary AS officers, AS presidents in particular, to work with. And I know one of the notions would be, what else would I say to you, right? But it's the absolute truth. Particularly the last 10 years or so have just been superb. And in fact, I ran into one of the old AS presidents, J.P. Primo, just this weekend. And he reminded me of the series of extraordinary AS officers that presidents I've had an opportunity to work with, and it's been a joy. What's been great about them is that they're smart, they are connected to their constituencies, they have great values, and they are thoughtful. And so in some ways, whether or not we always agree, it doesn't matter. That's not what's important. What's important is that you have presidents who represent their constituents, who represent the institution, who have the best interests of UCSB in mind, and who are smart. You can talk to them and work things through. And so it's been great. It's been a joy. And I joke with them every year. I worry because the last president was so great to work with. And he said, well, how can you do any better? Sure enough, the next president has been extraordinary to work with. One final comment, I call him boss.
Oh, you do?
I do. And I call him boss because it's important to me that I symbolize and I say boss so that it clearly symbolizes the importance that I give to that office and to the respect that I give to the office of the president of this undergraduate student body.
We're joined now by AS President-elect Sophia Armen. Sophia, thank you very much for being here. So Sophia, what issues do you think have been under-discussed on campus, and what do you think you and the administration can do together to solve it?
Ooh. I think largely issues of transparency are kind of number one. I think students need like a very basic breakdown of where their money is going, and how these budget cuts are taken from the state level down to the regental level, and then how they're actually dispersed here. I think that's a really important and fundamental process that students should not only have decision-making power in, but should even know kind of the basics of what's going on. And I know those things are somewhat available online or somewhat available in many different forms, but once again, for the average student, that's very difficult to even find or understand once you even have that material in front of you. And as someone who's been to many budget workshops, I do think those would be valuable, and I think having some type of forum where students can express their either their grievances or their relative issues would be very helpful, just so we kind of have like a consistent flow of communication. Because there just tends to be, isolated periods of communication rather than a flow of communication.
This is for both of you, but during the election, every candidate for all the executive offices and also for Student Advocate General talk about campus climate. So Dr. Young, let's start with you. What do you think is, if you could choose one thing to improve campus climate at UCSB, I know that's a limiting question, but if there's one priority or one policy, what do you think that UCSB needs most right now?
One of the things that I love about my new boss here is that she is extraordinarily passionate and with values. What's really great, I happen to agree with 99% of her values, so that helps. But she's also very passionate, but she's respectful and civil in her discourse. And I think that as we face the kinds of issues that we have in this country and on this campus, socioeconomic issues, racial, ethnic concerns, religious/cultural issues across groups, the solutions are there, and with bright, talented, well-educated, principled students and community members, we can find resolution. But the only way we can do that is if we really work to be respectful and engage each other in ways that allow for differences with dignity. There's a saying that that I've learned, and that's the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And I have moved it or changed the move to say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance and diligence. And so that means you have to continue to remain vigilant, you have to be diligent, and I think you have to do it in ways that allow people the respect and dignity to engage with you back. That's the only way we're going to resolve these matters.
I will be talking definitely with Chancellor Yang in the future about, issues of kind of freedom of expression on this campus, because I know I personally have seen, many of the impacts of having limits on freedom of expression here. And this is not directed at Vice Chancellor Young at all. Actually, this is largely like a very larger administration issue. It's just having students understand their rights here, having students understand that there are campus policies that do limit when and where you can say things and how you can say things. And some of those are very important, but also students should have an input in all of those things. And I just feel that wave of communication, first of all, should never just be a president to the administration. It actually should be the student body to the administration. So I'm in no way, just going to be a middleman here. I want to actually be opening and creating these spaces where students can come and voice their own concerns. Because we can say that the president is, the voice of the students, but truly, no president could ever represent all students.